A sleeping giant in the East Midlands is starting to awaken. Of course, I am talking about Nottingham Forest. Let's see today if they really can make European football, maybe the Champions League. And are they in a title race? Well, let's find out today. Hello guys, and welcome back to yet another video. We have to talk about Nottingham Forest. 6 wins in a row. They are the talking point in the Premier League. Before we get into this video, I'm sure there will be Nottingham Forest fans that do watch this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. As well as that, support the video by hitting the like button. Let's go for 1,500 likes. It takes 2 seconds to do that. And if you haven't already subscribed, get involved. Help us push to 88,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support so far. And let's talk about Forest. Look at the table next to me. It's absolutely crazy. Nottingham Forest in 3rd place after 20 games as well now. You know, we spoke about this previously, that I suppose anyone could be at the top end of the table after 5 games, maybe even 10 games. But we're well and truly now into the second half of the season, and Forest are more than holding their own. They are the in-form team in the Premier League with 6 wins in a row, most recently tonight dispatching of Wolves, who had actually started to have a bit of a resurgence recently. So there you go, Nottingham Forest walk away from the Nuno and Morgan Gibbs-White derby with the 3 points. And like I say, they are the in-form team. Just look at the table next to me. Let's try and work out what's possible, because I've actually got to a point now where I think if Nottingham Forest didn't make any form of European football, that would be quite disappointing. But maybe I'm just being a bit fanatical about it. I do think you have to maybe have a sense of realism that things can be difficult at any stage of the Premier League season, but Nottingham Forest are certainly making things look easy, and that's what I want to talk about. The results, they're just grinding them out. They are so good defensively, they are clean sheet monsters, and they always look a threat going forward. So let's have a look at things. At the moment, Forest are on 40 points, so we're not even going to have to... They're well past safety at this point. Remember, the last 2 years we've been speaking about Forest having to get over the line, but this time round they're more than safe already. They'd have to have a 40-point deduction, and I still think they might be able to catch up with the teams down at the bottom. 17 points have come at home, and let's talk about that away form. 23 points on the road. Remember, over the last couple seasons, the first season in particular, we'd spoken about Forest having to make the City Ground a fortress to get their results. Well, they have improved on the road, and with 40 points from 20 games, they are averaging 2 points per game, which does mean that they're projecting 78 points. And this is interesting. Let's have a look at this. So the average for 6th place, so we're talking Europa League football here, is usually about 60 points. For the last couple seasons, to get into the top 4, so we're talking Champions League now, well, Aston Villa last season had 68 points to get into 4th place. Newcastle 71 points. The season before that, Tottenham 71 points. So we're looking at 70 points on average gets you 4th place, and Forest are projecting 78. So, you know, we're in a really strong position here to see Forest get a Champions League place. And, you know, I'm not being dramatic. I do think it's possible. I do think, as I said, you need to take things with a pinch of salt in terms of the reality of the fact that Manchester City will come good eventually, surely, with the players that they've got. But Forest are opening a gap over some of these teams, and Chelsea in particular as well now, 4 points clear of them. And let's actually talk about the title race, because people have said that Chelsea are in the title race. Well, surely Forest are in the title race. I know that some people might think there's going to be a regression from Forest, but I just don't think it'll be a massive one, even if there is one. There might not even be one. There is also the possibility that 5th place could get Champions League. I think that's going to come down to how the English teams perform in Europe this season, but that's another possibility for Forest, that, you know, anywhere in the top 5 could get you Champions League football. Let's look ahead to the fixtures before we actually start to talk about some of the players and why Forest are doing so well. Next up for Forest, I suppose you could call it a distraction. They're playing Luton Town at home in the FA Cup. I know that some Forest fans might say, I'm happy to go out of that and concentrate on the league, but even if Forest put out a half-strengthened team, I think they could still steamroll Luton Town. Remember, these two were fighting over that last survival place last season, and since then, Luton Town, they've been dragged into a championship relegation battle, and Forest are up here in 3rd place. And then let's talk about Nottingham Forest's next league game. Liverpool at home. This is absolutely incredible, because Liverpool's only defeat this season was against Nottingham Forest, and that was at Anfield. You know, if this is now at the City Ground and the Forest fans can get there, can make themselves the 12th man, this could be really difficult for Liverpool. We've just seen Liverpool become a little bit unstuck against Manchester United in the Premier League. I certainly don't think Liverpool will be looking forward to that one, and you could even say from a Forest perspective, it's in a sense a free hit in terms of the fact that there's no pressure on Forest. Who expected Forest to be here? Maybe one or two optimistic people, but you get my point that Liverpool are in that position now that, you know, that the title's almost got their name on it. Well, if Forest beat them, it closes the gap to 3 points. I know that Liverpool would still have a game in hand, but certainly make things interesting. And then the next few games for Nottingham Forest include Southampton at home, definitely winnable. Bournemouth away, sometimes a banana skin. I think Forest sometimes struggle with Bournemouth, but you never know. Brighton at home after that as well, certainly winnable. Brighton are not winning many games at the moment. And then Fulham away. And credit to Fulham and Bournemouth while we're on the conversation, because these three teams that came up from the Championship in 2022 have all really kicked on. And it leads me to another point that, isn't this just brilliant? Isn't it fantastic to see Forest in third place, Bournemouth, Fulham, Villa, Newcastle all competing at the top end of the table? I mean, of course, Villa and Newcastle are massive clubs historically, like Forest as well, but this is just why the Premier League is so much better than a sort of Super League that the other teams were trying to put forwards, because you earn things on merit. And look at where Forest are, look at where Man United and Tottenham are. I mean, Man United are not even in this table next to me because they're further down than 12th place, which is just crazy. But that's not who we're talking about. Let's talk about Forest players. Nuno, first of all, I mean, he's got to come in for so much credit. Honestly, there was a time, let's think back to it, where he came in, and I wouldn't say any Forest fans were really against Nuno from the get-go, but there was really sore feelings after Steve Cooper had gone, who was still, and is still, a club legend there, but Nuno has taken them to even better heights. Matt Sells in goal, and with the defenders like Murillo, Milenkovic, we're talking signing of the season there, and Morato, Olo Aina as well, and their versatility as well, you know, the ability to adapt and change formations mid-game, going from a back four to a back five potentially. Really solid. Like I say, clean sheet monsters. One of the signings of the season has to be Elliot Anderson. The numbers he's putting up, assists, he's got the most for Forest this season, tackles as well. Honestly, he's been unbelievable. That bit of business Forest did with Newcastle, where they also managed to get rid of Lacademos, incredible. Morgan Gibbs-White, like I say, scored again, celebrated in front of the Wolves fans. Yates, Dominguez. I mean, Yates, by the way, he's come up with them through the Championship. Incredible to see him still doing well. Alanga as well. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he's been out for the last couple of games, but you also got Jota Silva, and then Awoniyi is a forward, but we've got to talk about Chris Wood, who just does score goals. Honestly, he's a machine, isn't he? He's a monster. He's a goal machine. And it begs the question, even though I was a fan of Steve Cooper, why didn't he play Chris Wood more? Nuno's definitely getting the best out of him. And like I say, at the same time as keeping clean sheets and looking really good defensively, they are carrying that threat. Really, really impressive. It's a devastating combination. Good defence, good attack, win games, move up the table, and it's literally as simple as that. I know there's obviously more to it, and Nuno's doing a fantastic job. You think as well, with Nottingham Forest, how far they have come. It's crazy. We're talking 4-5 years ago, 17th in the Championship, stagnating. I know they're a massive club historically, but they went down to League One at one stage. Steve Cooper is a legend. He brought them up to the Premier League, and I remember thinking at the time, this is it, this is as good as it gets. Forest back in the Premier League, so happy for them. But no, they've literally taken it to a new height, and I wonder if this carries on, this trajectory, are we going to be talking about Forest winning the Champions League this time next season? I won't get too carried away, but this is what I mean about the rise this club has been on, and the fans are absolutely living it. I mean, there'll be Forest fans that are younger talking to their parents, what was it like with Brian Clough? Well, I'm not saying it's the exact same, but we're getting there. I mean, this ride is honestly unbelievable. Like I say, this is honestly unbelievable. And will I make a prediction in this video? Well, I know it might sound obvious, but I think Forest are going to get European football. Whether that's Europa League or Champions League, I'm not too certain just yet, but I think Champions League football is looking very, very likely. And if they beat Liverpool, they really open up the title race. They really do. They really do. And I don't think you can laugh at that. You know, honestly, who would have seen Leicester City doing it in 2016? So let's just see. Let's just see. Forest fans, share your thoughts. It's been an absolute pleasure watching you so far this season. I've really enjoyed the ride over the last few years. Nuno is getting himself to that point where he's going to deserve a statue at the City ground soon. And yeah, what an incredible journey. Guys, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do both of those and it would really help the channel grow, so please do get involved. Make sure to share your comments down below. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say, whether you're a Nottingham Forest fan or not. Let me know your thoughts. I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Peace out.